in the confusion of our daily lives that makes us angry, feeling like an old friend all the time, prepared to visit quickly to arrive and not want to leave. But what if I do? That has the power to make this better. Lies with, instead of holding back your anger, how to get good at delaying. Hello, journey of finding out about yourself and feeling expertise. Today we look at a timeless piece of advice, the best cure for. It takes time for these words written by the nearly 2,000 years ago. The Roman philosopher Seneca memories from years ago hold power that can change our lives right now. But it's time to talk about the why before we talk about the how. Why should we take care of if you're angry, why not just let it out? Anger that can't be managed is like a wildfire, breaks up relationships and hurts our health, and it makes us feel bad a lot of the time. Those things can stay with us for years. But in reality, anger isn't the enemy. It's a normal feeling that often means that something significant to us is, in the end, the real issue is how we answer it. This is where the wisdom of Stoicism comes from. The Stoics, philosophers from Greece and Rome, said occasionally, "We can't manage whatever happens to us. We are in charge." Within that place and how we respond, there is our between stimulus and reaction. Biggest power. So how do we make it? What happens during that important wait? Take a moment to think about this. From the points of view of three people from various backgrounds meet. Sarah, Michael, and Alex are both dealing with different problems that make them wait and stir up their anger with their. We'll find useful stories how to get good at delaying things and change how we interact with. Sarah has a lot of anger. A boss who is always juggling many tasks, her days are full meetings right after each other and important emails, meetings with important choices. Sarah looks more and more upset as a coworker gives a badly planned reports that Sarah feels her feelings of anger rising. Sarah spoke out against her coworker and there was the whole team there, but Sarah has been learning how to wait while she feels very angry. Sarah thinks of reading Marcus Aurelius's words, ability to control your thoughts and not outside events. Know this and you'll be strong. During that wait, Sarah asks herself three very important questions. Is under my control at this time? 2. How would I best deal with? Within a month, these three things will become important. By setting up this pause, Sarah gives herself time to answer with care instead of reacting. She decides on the spot to address the problem. Positively, turning a dispute into a chance for getting better. Let's meet Michael he is a high school teacher, and he struggles with a set of problems that come with working with teens all day. Takes understanding and patience. Usually has a thick skin. Michael is facing a kid who is being aggressive. Michael was rude and annoying, becomes more angry, as the kid's behavior that could derail the whole. Michael has learned the same thing as the ability to delay right now. Michael reminds us of what Epictetus said. It's not what happens to you, but how you handle it. This short walk is only about his. During the wait, Michael thinks about this student's three main points. I'm not being attacked personally by your actions. 2. There may be problems going on underneath why this behavior is happening. 3. How can I use this as a chance to teach? By making this wait, Michael changes his anger into understanding and converts a possible fight turned into a finally, we have real interaction. During the holidays, Alex is a stay-at-home mom. Alex has to deal with a traditional job, a lot of everyday events that can make people angry and frustrated. Alex is taking care of a child's Alex throwing a fit in the grocery store. As the child's temper tantrum happens in the middle of at the food store, Alex feels like he knows a wave of anger and shame. But Alex has also learned how to wait at. Suddenly, Alex remembers the words of Seneca. The person who doesn't get mad when they see evil is not good. But someone who doesn't do it is. Stay calm. Even though he was angry, currently is not a good idea. It makes me think of three things about Alex's delay. Firstly, my kid isn't being difficult. It's been a rough time for them too. How can I take care of the real problem? Being the cause of this behavior. 3. Be passed by making this wait. Alex changes anger into comprehension, putting the child's needs first instead instead of responding to the action. Sarah. Our friends Michael and Alex show us that the art of delay isn't about keeping your anger in check, but about making room for wisdom too. When we enter this place, we can pick our answer lining up what we do with what values over our immediate feelings. But how do we grow this? Able to control our anger and what does this do to our brains? Moment of truth. Stay tuned as we dig. Going deeper into the study of anger, the Stoics' way of thinking, and good sense. Tips you can use every day to get better. The art of waiting as we learn more about how to hold your anger in. Let's look into it, how our brains work during those important breaks when anger is high. The amygdala, the brain's emotional center, rises. Center makes our worry hormones go off. Body's old fight or flight, ORF reaction, makes us ready to act right away. But this quick reaction to a cause often does these days. They do more harm than good. You can use delay to your advantage here. Conscious pause, even if it's just for a few seconds, our prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain that to think logically, and this simple act of delay in decision-making that lets us stop feeling from responding emotionally to answering carefully. But how do we create this delay habit? It needs practice, just like any other skill. Wait, let's look at some useful. There are methods that you can use in how the 5-5-5 rule affects your daily life when feeling angry. Ask yourself, will this issue in 5 minutes, 5 months, 5? This easy mental practice has helped me for years. Think about the bigger picture of things a lot. Show that our anger is not proportional to the issue. 2 box inhale for 4 counts and hold for 5. To 4, let out 4 breaths and hold for 4 times this cycle. Navy SEALs use a method to help calm down and make that happen in your neural system. The Stoic, at a key moment of delay. 3. Pause when something sets off an old belief. Mentally take a step back and watch you were a neutral third party. Thoughtfully consider what a smart person would do. In this case, this makes me feel distance and makes a more logical responding 4 times or refocusing during your wait, and then try rephrasing the situation as an opportunity instead of a danger attack. Do you see it as a test or a chance to grow? 5. The is it true method to use when angry thoughts come up. Are you sure that often our anger is justified? Relies on ideas or misunderstandings? This question can help. Allow us to stop and remember that the goal isn't to don't get angry. Anger is a normal feeling. A sometimes helpful feeling is what the goal is, to give the trigger some room to move. Our answer, where we can pick how to. All right, let's go back to our 3 friends, Emily, Michael, and Alex, and see how they follow these steps every day. Sarai has turned the 5-5-5 rule into a of her mental tools on a daily basis in a she felt during a recent high-stakes deal, raising her anger when the other person offered something that seemed rude. Before she could answer, she quickly ran by dialing 555 questions while the deal was. It was frustrating that she now knew it wouldn't work. Does it really matter in 5 months or 5 years? This point of view helped her answer, keep your cool and keep negotiating efficiently and eventually reaching a deal that is good for both parties. Michael. Our Spanish teacher at school has been using box breathing for 1 day. The student kept talking during class. He put his patience to the test as Michael excused himself as he felt his anger rising. Himself for a moment and walked into the hallway. He did 4 rounds of exercises. 64 seconds of box breathing, of controlled breathing, enabled him to go back to class. Calm and clear, and calmly spoke to the kids. Conduct that is firm but caring, turning what could be a bomb into a chance to teach Alex. Our stay-at-home, the parent has adopted the serious pause. During an especially tough day when it looked like everything was going wrong, Alex's kid splattered grape juice on a new floor that was just cleaned. That last thing might have been enough, but Alex stopped, took a mental step back and asked, what would an intelligent mom do? Situation this time to think Alex was able to see the event not an intended to provoke, but as a normal, an important part of a child's growth. Instead of loudly yelling, Alex made the cleanup the game teaches kids to be responsible while making sure the atmosphere is good. These using the art of putting off anger is more than just an academic idea, but a useful. We use this tool every day, but what about when the anger feels too much? Strong enough to be justified in delaying this is we need to learn more about the reasons why we're angry. Often, our anger is not just the immediate cause but deeper fears or wants that weren't met during your. Take a moment to think about what am I feeling that's really bugging me? Abused and unsafe. Not able to figure out the cause, the anger we feel can help us deal with the real problem instead of just responding to or the trigger on the surface. Think about the Stoic Epicus was a philosopher who said that people are views, not things, that bother me. They remember this deep understanding. Brings to mind that our anger often comes not from the set of events but from our interpreting by putting off our first. When we're angry, we tell ourselves the chance to think about our meaning again. Take a more positive view. It's time to practice. Think of a recent event that made you mad. Now let's use the skill of delaying. When looking back, one should take a big breath and take your mind off of the. Secondly, think about what my understanding of what's going on here. That 3. What made you angry? Is there another way? Look at this situation in a way that didn't meet my need. To irritate 4 being met right then and there. 5. If I could look back, how could I have responded differently? The point of this practice isn't to judge your first thought. It's about training your thoughts to make that important weight if it happens again, allowing you to pick your response. Now let's talk about a misunderstanding. Putting off anger doesn't actually mean being easy to get along with. By getting good at the art of delay, we can deal with problems more efficiently and voice our opinions more strongly when we stay calm. Clarity. Instead of reacting with anger, the things we say and do have more weight, have more of an effect. Think about the words of "the closer a person comes," Marcus Aurelius said. To a calm mind. The more you get to power, this power lets us maintain our ideas without the winds of anger are blowing. It helps us say no strongly, but being polite to set limits without putting out fires and dealing with problems. To be helpful, let's see how our friend is doing. This is what Sarah, Michael, and Alex do. Sarah recently had to deal with her strength a teammate about consistently missing. In the past, she was frustrated by schedules, an angry outburst that would have hurt their work. Instead of the relationship, Sarah used the calmly paused to gather her thoughts, then had a quiet, focused talk. She was clear with her team members, talking about the effects of missed, getting things done, and meeting goals. Answer she led to, by staying calm and strong. A helpful conversation and better success. Instead of defense, Michael had to deal with anger and an angry dad who was having the grade of their child. Instead of Michael was defensive or angry in response, used the method of, is it true? To check his ideas about the parents with good motives. He learned that the parents, a lot of the anger came from worries about the future of their child with this. Look at it this way. Michael was able to have a positive talk about the grading process while also chatting about ways for the student to calm down and show more empathy. They turned a possible fight into a working together to help the student. Alex had to deal with a neighbor. The person whose dog constantly barked. Alex's kid normally takes naps and arguing with the neighbor. Alex changed the way they saw the situation, by a chance to make things better. Relationship with neighbors after things calmed down. Alex walked up to the neighbor calmly, described what was going on and suggested, together they work out a way to do it. This method led to a good talk in which they found out the dog was barking because it was alone. Stress, they were able to come up with ideas, ways to help the dog and keep the peace surrounding each of these things that are delaying the initial anger. The reaction made it possible for a better that this is the real power of. By delaying it, we can avoid even though anger still has bad effects, also creates chances for good things. Things that anger would have kept from happening. However, what about those times when it appears impossible, when the anger, so quickly and strongly that we respond before we can even think? Put this off is where the practice of mindfulness is used a lot. Using focus in our everyday lives living can make us more aware of the world around us. The way our feelings make it easy to stop being angry early before it gets out of hand. Allow us to try this easy mindfulness exercise a few times during your today. Take a moment to check in with, asking yourself what feelings you currently have. Where do you feel them right now? Your shoulders should be relaxed. You clenched your jaw by regularly tuning. You'll gain insight into your mental state better at seeing the early signs that anger gives you more chances. Remember how to use the art of delay. It takes work to get good at delaying things. Isn't a goal. There will be times when you do it, Ed. Pause before, how to respond and what to do when you're angry for you. The key is to deal with this self-compassion as the center of your practice. Insisted we not be mad at who we are when we fail, but should keep receiving education without any sense of with anger every time you wait to get angry and celebrate that success, no matter how small. If you get angry, use it as a chance to learn. Opportunity. Think about what made you angry and how you felt in your body and what you might change what you do next time. This reflective practicing is a way to put things off. The time after the event to let you know about answers in the future as we get close to the end of we looked into. Let's go over the main points, the art of putting off anger. 1. Aggression is not the enemy. It's a normal feeling that can show imp. Concerning 2 important issues, power lies in the break between clicking the trigger and our answer. 3. This break lets us change from the emotional brain that reacts our brains that think logically. 4 uses of tools like the 5-5-5 rule box. The Stoic pause and deep breathing can help. Let's set this important weight. 5. Postponing anger isn't the same thing as stifling it, but picking a smart answer. 6. Being aware every day can help us. Find anger early and make more of it. Chances to delay. 7. Mastering practicing the art of delay all the time. That needs time and care. Kindness for yourself. As you move on from here, I want you to look at each angry event in your life as a chance to learn how to delay things. First, do something small, like wait a few seconds can make a big difference. These small delays make a difference over time, getting longer and giving you more room to pick a good answer. And remember, the words of Seneca that we began with, delay. In this short sentence hides the truth that each of us has the power to change how we relate to. By learning how to delay things, we minimized our anger. Not only stay away from the harmful anger that can't be managed, but we allow ourselves to receive more positive, caring, and successful strategies for interacting with the world. So the next time you start to feel angry, that little space between is made by breath. In that space there was stimulus and reaction. It will be up to you to decide to understand and behave instead of reacting to it, rather than judge to change, instead of greater than destroy. This is the real power of wait time, and it's a power that lives inside each of us. As you leave this video, I want you to carry skills or tactics and a fresh look at be angry, but don't see it as an enemy. 1. But as a messenger to come heard after a serious break-in. By doing this, you might find that anger turns into not a source of pain and sadness, but a force for growth in your life. Knowledge of and progress toward the path to controlling your anger through delay is one that lasts a lifetime. Nonetheless, a trip that makes peace bigger and stronger, more understanding and better partnerships we and other people. So take that. The first step is to set up that first delay and learn how to be strong and smart. It is inside you as we move into the final part of our journey into the art. Let's take a moment to avoid getting angry right now. Think of how far we've come. Learned about the ideas behind anger, looked at useful methods for which caused delay, and saw how this way of thinking can change our daily lives. Now let's look more closely at exchanges, how this skill can be added to everyday things that make up our lives. One of the strongest things you can do is thought. How to make delaying the habit stronger. Stoics do an activity called the reviews every night at the end of each day. They were going to think about what they did, mostly how they dealt with tough situations. We can use this practice in different settings. Pay close attention to how we manage anger. Ask yourself this question every night. For the first question, when did I feel? Today. 2. Did I manage to make a wait 3 seconds before answering? If so, what was the result? If not, how could things have gone differently if I had 4? What can I use what I've learned tomorrow? This easy habit strengthens the how to train your mind and how important delay is to become more aware of what makes you angry, things that may happen to you over time, that important pause in the middle of a fight. But what about times when stress is high? It makes sense when we look at this is real injustice or crime, Stoics' idea of what is good. When anger shows up, the Stoics perform. They thought there might be a place for when anger was in check, right in scale and aimed at talking about injustice. But even in this is when delay is very important. Seneca wrote about being angry, even when it's right, ought to never be said in private. Wait until you have witnesses before making it happen. This wait is used for more than one thing. Lets us be sure that our anger is justification to come up with a better answer, and let you know what we think in the most likely way to lead to good change. Think about the great leaders who know how to channel how angry they are about social justice. People like Martin Luther King Jr., the Nelson Mandela. They were angry about how not only was injustice gone, but changed by patience and knowledge into strong, peaceful action. Show how delay can change anger from turning a harmful force into a spark for good change as we work on the art. Why we put off dealing with anger starts to shift. Instead of seeing it like a strong force that controls our anger, becomes something useful to us, news or knowledge that something is. We need to take care of our surroundings. The change in point of view fits with the idea that the Stoic principle of assent. We can look back at our first impressions and resolve to accept them as certainly true. When we feel the first signs of anger, we can stop and ask, is this anger serving me? Is it in line with is there a more positive way to handle this? What's bugging me? By following this technique regularly, we get better at what the Stoics called this for a state of mind showed by moderation, self-control, and well-being. Doesn't mean you should never get angry. It means being smart enough to know when it's okay to be angry and the self-control to say it. As we get close to the end of our travels, let's go back to our friends Sarah and Mike Alex. Sarah has learned that her weight practice has made her a better worker. She improved her life and relationships by not responding right away to her partners. Sometimes she makes careless comments. She's capable of having more positive talks about what she needs and thoughts and feelings that make us stronger. More getting to know Michael's relationship, began telling his pupils about the adding awareness to the art of delay. Putting exercises into his lessons, he has seen a big step forward in school action and has even been thanked for it. Parents have sent texts about how these methods have helped Alex at home, found that the delay in learning longer life and general happiness by reacting carefully instead of getting angry to every day. Alex enjoys problems more, taking care of kids, and has more energy for the personal goals that these stories remind us of. Shown us that putting off anger isn't an art just about stopping bad things happening. It means making room for more. Having good, satisfying moments in all parts of our lives as we come to a close. Don't forget that learning how to use delay, that it's not about getting perfect there. There are still going to be times when anger gets the more responsible, when we act before we think. Hold on. The key is to get close to this. As you practice, be patient and self-see emotion. Every moment of anger is a chance to practice, learn, and improve. Using Epicurus's words, first tell them to choose who you want to be, and then do it. What you need to do to reach your goal. We should react with wisdom instead of anger. We chose a path of constant expansion and working on yourself, so that as you move forward in this movie, I want you to make a promise. Yourself, to making that little difference in time between stimulus and reaction. That important moment of waiting, begin small even. A short wait time can make an important change over time as you work on and improve your skills at hold off on these little delays, getting longer. Allowing you to pick your smartly answer and remember the power to change how you deal with anger. Somewhere inside you, in that space between what the stimulus and reaction were at that time of wait, and you'll be able to make your choice. Not to react, but to answer, to learn by trying to understand instead of judging others. Rather than tear down as you go about your day with the Stoics' wise words and the thoughts we've talked about together. Wishing you more strength in the face of people who are angry should learn how to delay things. Not just a method, but also a way of life. May this move help you do more tranquility, better connections, and a getting to know yourself better and other people. Thanks for joining me. Studying how to hold your anger back. Recall what Marcus Aurelius said, "Mind control is yours." Events from the outside will know this, and you will gain strength, then go forth, and may you know how to use the power of delay well. Gratitude.